Welcome back to another episode of the Mac and Fish podcast. Our episode today, we're going to discuss Cardinal Gibbons' run to the state championship with head coach Matt Debuc. Well, back again in the state finals. Cardinal Gibbons had a tough road to get there. A long season for everybody involved in state championship series football this year in the state of Florida because of COVID-19. Coach Matt Debuc is looking for his second championship in, I believe it's 3 years now. I look at the schedule, you beat St. Thomas. We talked about that before. You beat Gulliver. You beat American Heritage Del Rey. And then you go on the road and you blow out Cocoa, which is everybody's will tell you it's one of the hardest places to play. They're not an easy team to beat. They're well coached. They got great athletes. Do you feel like those games, though, early in the year, whether it was St. Thomas, Gulliver, or Heritage, they prepared you for that game?
Well, Fish, I think when you put yourself in a position to compete every week, and I think our team was ready to roll from day one. When we started with the pods training, and we had a great senior leadership group, a senior quarterback coming back, had won a state championship. And then you had Troy Stiletto that committed to Clemson and going to sign tomorrow at Clemson. And he was kind of banged up most of the year, played well last week and, practiced, all this week. So we haven't had him in a full week of practice. Two young running backs that were unproven that really showed what we thought about them and believed in them when they were in our JV program, and just to have this opportunity to come back and dial it up one more time. And I told our senior class today, not many schools get a chance, or teams get a chance to say when their last practice is. And today was their last practice, before we go on the road tomorrow and kick the field at Bradford High School in Gainesville. But, there was their last practice, and it was because of what they've done over the last 2.5 to 3 years to put themselves in that position. And, sometimes they usually tell you, when you play the game, they tell you when your last practice is going to be. But, these guys have called their shot.
Yeah, I got you. I want to ask you, winning a state title this year, you won one 2 years ago, and it took a lot to get to that point, not only in your career as a coach, but you got as a program. But this year, how rewarding would it be this year of all years with everything you've had to overcome if you guys won a state title this year?
I told our guys this the other day. I said, I haven't asked you guys for anything other than taking care of yourselves, your families, and making sure that, you didn't do anything over the weekend to bring this to our team and shut us down. I said, you guys win a state championship just like we did in 18. I'll buy your ring. I mean, I'll raise the money. I'll find it and I'll buy your ring. You deserve it. You've been a team all year. You've persevered through, a cancellation of a game. Senior night was canceled because of COVID-19 from the other team we were playing. So, to me, money's money, and it's tough to come by, but memories are more valuable than money. And, I'll be glad to go out there and raise every penny I can to make sure these kids get rewarded for winning a state title. But in my opinion, already they're champions, win, lose, or draw on Thursday. But obviously the icing on the cake is winning the football game and doing what we set out to do with there's so many competitors in our program that we continually have in the culture that we've created.
Following up with that question, the pulse of this team, you're a disciplined coach. You demand a lot, but your players respect you, and they know that, yeah, you're going to be hard on them at times, but at the same time, you'll put your arm around them after practice. How did you know this year, this team, when to push them, when to lay off? They were going through so much. How did you know with this team when to push those buttons?
Well, honestly, Fish, I've been a pretty understanding guy the whole year. We brought, the kids aren't on campus. They're coming in and they're driving in, and we're trying to get started at 3:30. Then the time changes. You get started a few minutes later, and then you're in the dark at the end of practice. But, I was always pretty understanding to that. we're all coming from different places. We're not on campus. And then we had all that rain in November. We got washed out. We had, 2 different weeks where we missed practices on our own field. We had to go to Holiday Park to practice, which we've never done before. And, on Saturday, we had practice Saturday, and we didn't have the same tempo or intensity that we typically have. And I kind of snapped on the guys a little bit. And I let them know that, hey, every day's an opportunity. Every day's a blessing. And I had to remind them of that with a few extra sprints in the middle of practice, and a couple harsh words at times that coaches aren't proud of using, but have used in the past. And it was a reboot for us on Saturday, and we came back Monday and Tuesday. We've been pretty sharp, and tomorrow we'll get on a bus. We'll head to Gainesville, have lunch in Gainesville, and then head up to Tallahassee, have dinner, and then we're going to practice at Bradford High School tomorrow, and do our walkthrough there, and then that's in Stark, Florida, and then head to Tallahassee, then have our pregame meal and dinner, and get ready to roll at leave the hotel about 9:45, 10 o'clock to head to Tallahassee, the stadium for 11, and get on the field, get in the locker room, and enjoy the opportunity that we got.
You guys are averaging 6.3 yards per carry. That's what I saw online. Kamar Moulton and Torrance Miller. Usually you guys have like kind of a feature back, but this year you're kind of, it seems more like running back by committee. Tell us a little about these two young men.
They're both sophomores. One of them's a big bruiser, and the other one's more of a scat guy. And both of them have had a heck of a year for sophomores. We have a senior, Jaden Morgan. He's also contributed there. And, we even though we're an air raid school, we really work hard in ball distribution and making the defenses defend the whole field, not just, in the box or on the perimeter. And, we have a senior quarterback, Brody Pelagi, that's played well. And we got a mixture of sweet and sour. We have a bunch of sweet seniors, and we have a bunch of sour sophomores and juniors that we're looking for them to carry the torch after this senior class does their thing. And I feel really good about the direction we're headed. And it's a blessing anytime you get this far, because fighting COVID, fighting the weather, and then fighting the teams that we've had to play down the stretch on the road. We hosted Clewiston, and then the last 3 weeks we've been road warriors, including this one coming up. It'll be number 4. So, listen, you can look at it and gripe, or you can look at it and say it's a blessing. And to me, it's a blessing. And I've known you for a long time, and this has been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to this point.
No doubt, no doubt. Brody, tell us a little bit about him. Was he the quarterback 2 years ago that came in and helped lead you guys to state finals as a freshman or sophomore? Or?
He was a sophomore that came in and replaced Scalzo when he got hurt. And he's had the reins. I guess this is going to be his, 2.5, or he started the last 3 games of his sophomore year to win a state title. And then took us to the 3rd round last year, and then now to the championship again. So he's a winner. That's all I can tell you. He's a scrappy dude that.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he definitely you can't judge somebody by their size if they're that scrappy, so.
Nah, whether you play him ping pong or pig or whatever you want to play him, the dude is going to try to win. And that's what makes him such a fierce competitor, and he'll find his way onto somebody's team, and everybody will ask, where'd this dude come from? And we're hoping that we're going to say he's a 2-time state, championship quarterback. That's the whole goal here.
No doubt. We know how great Troy is. He's had a great career at your high school, but I look down at your stat sheet, and 6 different receivers you've had go over 100 yards. How difficult do you feel it is to defend your offense when you guys really don't focus on one receiver?
He's obviously he makes everybody better the way he plays. But what we do is a good job of making defenses defend the field, and they'll give something up, and we capitalize on how they do it. And our offensive line, I don't. You can talk about Brody, you can talk about Troy, you can talk about the two backs, but the O line is really the unsung hero of our offense. You know, they've played so well, and contributed with just intensity in practice, and they've just done their part, which has made our offense really tough to defend. And then our front seven on defense is as good a front seven as I've ever been around. And so you put that together, you got a nice combination.
Well, no doubt. I really appreciate you coming on. I didn't want to, kill you with questions, but I appreciate, like I said, you coming on, and I wish you guys nothing but the best going up there and bringing back a second title to Cardinal Gibbons. And you guys are starting to build a little dynasty powerhouse there at that school. We always knew it had the potential, and you've done a phenomenal job as well as your coaching staff. And we, like I said, congratulations on this season, and bring that trophy home on this weekend.
We're going to try, Fish. Hey, Fish, remember the days back at Florida State camp, you and me?
Yeah.
Going through those practices, those late nights at the Florida State camps, and always talking about building a program and what it takes, and not just doing it in the short term, but doing it in the long term. And, listen, for any program, for any coach listening, for any program to have success, you got to have the athletic director on board. You got to have the administration on board. You got to have guys in your program that are loyal to you. And if you can get those three things, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, because it doesn't happen everywhere, and it doesn't happen all the time. So, for anybody out there looking, man, it's you can have a couple years, but this is year number 5 for us, and we're looking at number 6 next year, but we're going to finish the job this year. So I appreciate you guys, man. And if you need anything else, Fish, you can always call me.
Yeah, there's one last thing I got to bring up. Vincent Davis, he went off the other night against Georgia Tech. How proud are you of him?
I watched the whole game. I had a meeting. We had a meeting with some boosters, and we're at a restaurant watching the game going on, and Vince is just all over the field. So I was so proud of him and so fired up. And then literally I get home and my phone's blowing up about his post game interview, which Vince will be at the game this week. He's coming from Pitt. He's coming down, and how excited he gets. And listen, that's what it's all about, man. I mean, for high school coaches, we don't make a ton of money, but our payment is to see those guys have success when they go to school, and for us to root for and be Pittsburgh fans when I don't care about Pitt, but I do now because Vince is there. We have a bunch of kids at Kentucky. I care about Kentucky. I care about the programs that our kids go to. And that's what it's all about.
Well, it helps you out, though. It does help you out that these kids do go off to college. And the one thing is, and you've done a great job of this, is that you haven't forced kids to one school. You've allowed them to go to different schools and do their thing. And it shows kids that they come to your school, they have the opportunity to continue their college career once their high school career is over, but they could have success. You don't have to go to, the Alabamas or the Clemsons just to have success. You could go to Pittsburgh and do very well. And that's what he's done. And I'm sure that's something that helps you when you're talking to a parent or whatever that comes into your office, that, hey, listen, this is what can happen if you come to Cardinal Gibbons, but also there's a lot of schools out there that are great. You should just focus on one or two.
Yeah, we don't force the kids to go. We want them to go where they want to go, because I'm not going to be there with them. We tell them, hey, if the staff we feel is not necessarily solid at this point, if you got to win to keep your job, because it's such a transient business. So we tell them, hey, go somewhere where you want to be for the next 4 years. Don't follow the coach, but go somewhere where you want to be for the next 4 years or 5 years, wherever it is, and get an education. And if you're good enough, football will be there afterward. And if it doesn't work out, you got a degree, you've got, alumni base, and you got people that will hopefully help you in the business world. And, that's our advice to these guys. I could care less where they go. I just want them to be happy and have opportunity.
Well, enjoy your ride. Have a safe ride up there, safe ride back. Bring another trophy back. But once again, how we do at the end. Just give everybody your social media so they can follow your program.
Mine is at Redskins32, and our football program is at Gibbons Football on Twitter, and I believe it's at Cardinal Gibbons for Instagram. So I appreciate that. So if you guys need anything in the future, let me know.
No doubt. We'll get together after the new year, and it's a pity we can't spend it at the coaching convention this year, but we'll find another way to get together. So
I know. All right, Fishy. Take care, man.
Take it easy. Talk to you there.
Bye.
Bye.